Starting. Hello, everyone. This is Bishara with the Marketing Shtick at Philly Marketing Labs, and this is our 5th episode. Happy 5th, guys.
Yes.
We thought we were going to get shut down and run out of budget after our first one.
Goodness. Yeah, these Google Hangouts are expensive.
Super expensive to produce. I'm rocking out my PML wardrobe. I don't know if you can see it. So this was our commemorative T-shirt from our Philly Marketing Labs event in Vegas. I don't know. Have we had a session since an episode since Vegas? I don't think we have.
Oh yeah, I think we did.
We did have one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
but that's a nice design, I should say.
Yeah, I designed it myself. Trisha added the bird on it right here. She put a bird on it. So today is an exciting show for you because we just had Tommy come back from Mountain View, where he was at the Google Top Contributors Summit. For those who don't know, at Philly Marketing Labs, we have 3 Google Top contributors that work with us. And every year, Google flies them out to Mountain View, and they put them under NDA, and they run a few things by them. New functionalities coming down the pike, different devices. I learned that there was some Google Assistant and Google Home demonstrations. So Tommy is here with us today to answer our questions and sit on the hot seat as we question him and try to get him to break his NDA with Google. So in addition to Tommy, I have Kim Klinkenbroomer. She's with us as well. She's part of the PPC department at Philly Marketing Labs. And then our resident comedian, Trisha Lamb.
Whatever.
Trisha wears multiple hats at PML, and she'll be here to poke fun at Tommy as well. So, all right. So, Tommy, I'm glad you got back. How was your flight?
It was good. I made it home safely.
Glad to have you back.
We'll keep it positive here.
We're keeping it positive. He had a rough flight back. What did you fly, Delta?
No, it was American, but it
American?
It was the people that were challenging.
Yeah. People get stressed out on long flights. It's a 6-hour flight.
Yeah, Netflix saved me. I watched some comedy shows, and I'm laughing in the middle of everybody else's horror. It was great.
Right.
Nice.
Always go prepared.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're only warming you up. We really don't care as much about your flight. we just really want to get to the meat of this. What did you learn? Drop some knowledge on us, man. What was the theme? What was the theme? The overarching theme.
So I would say if I had to pick one overarching theme, it was the emphasis on machine learning and Google's integration of machine learning into basically everything they touch.
Machine learning. What is that? Say a little bit more for those who aren't familiar.
All right. Disclaimer, I'm not an engineer working on machine learning.
Okay.
Okay. And basically, if I were to try to summarize it, it's essentially sort of an ongoing system that will repeat certain tasks until it more frequently lands at the desired outcome.
I see. So it's like evolving artificial intelligence, right?
Yeah, so machine learning will lead to artificial intelligence, right? So the good example that was presented to us, and I'll keep this brief, was, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the meme about, is it a dog or is it fried chicken?
Yes.
Right? You have like a golden poodle that looks like fried chicken if you take the right picture. And so, the example they gave is, a machine learning applied to image recognition would run through these photos over and over and over again and come to conclusions. Dog, not dog, or hot dog, not hot dog. For those Silicon Valley things, right?
Yep.
And it's not always right. And in the beginning, it's maybe not even remotely right. But there's a human element to where we help correct it, right? And then it's like, okay, where did I make the mistake? And it keeps repeating these sort of patterns and processes until it really just becomes smarter and smarter and smarter. And they're applying that sort of process. I probably just explained that really poorly.
No, that was really good.
Let us know in the comments how good that was.
Actually, what I heard you say, Tommy, is that very soon Kim will be out of a job.
Oh, very funny.
So Google will be getting better and better at writing ad copy, at helping us optimize for our desired outcomes. Now, is this at your account level, or is there like an overarching intelligence that's growing in the AdWords ecosystem that everybody pulls from? Or is it your account has to kind of go through certain permutations to learn on its own?
I think it's all the above. So if we're now talking specifically about AdWords, they're applying this to everything they do.
Gotcha. It's not just AdWords.
No, it's everywhere. Search, I mean, everywhere. YouTube, it's across the board. But if we're talking about ads, shifting gears a little bit, yeah, there's lots of ways that they're going to apply machine learning. From different ways you can structure and align your account, different ways you can create ads and set them up for the auctions, the way the auctions work, and the way they're better understanding the users and what they want, right? And they're going to use that information to help better serve the right ads. So it's, as more and more of this machine learning comes into play, I think it's going to help us help provide a better experience for the users, which is what we want, right?
Right.
And for our clients, it's really exciting.
That's awesome. So Tommy, does this require our clients to have conversion tracking in place? Like, do we have to do a better job setting up the account so Google knows what we're optimizing towards?
So the key sort of element to machine learning is feeding it information, right? You've got to have information to feed it so it knows what to look for, what to do, right? And so conversions wouldn't be required, right? There's other ways you can, other strategies and focuses on accounts that could still be influenced and benefit from machine learning. But in a conversion environment, absolutely. The more conversion data, you can feed into the bidding and the different smart bidding choices inside of AdWords, the better the outcomes, right? So we're talking about, it might not be just the lead form. We might be talking about micro conversions, or there's different ways you can explore and look at what a conversion is to provide more information.
Yeah. Do you think that accounts need to hit like a critical mass as far as the amount of traffic or conversion data that they pull in before the machine learning can really be effective?
So on a conversion level, right, we heard of recently data-driven attribution, right, which was a new machine learning-based bidding algorithm that is solely based on conversions. And the base level is like 600 conversions a month.
I remember it being really high.
1,000 clicks. So in certain cases, yeah, there are absolutely going to be baseline sort of levels of information that we're going to have to feed. But it can be applied to any sort of account, right? Even if you just have a branding account, you generally have enough, click traffic and impressions that it can still learn from that as well.
It can still go on like other metrics aside from conversions.
Yeah, because it's also learning from the audience,
right?
Trying to learn about the user to connect them with us as advertisers.
Right. Tommy, what about our branding-driven clients where there's really no lead form, no phone call? It's just bringing new eyeballs to their product or service and just making more people know about their existence. Was there any discussions around that?
Well, so the machine learning is in play in all of the sort of, we call them the optimized suite of bidding options. And so there are options for optimize for clicks. Right. And that's sort of, in a sense, what we're talking about if we're on a general branding sort of initiative and awareness is, beyond impressions, we're trying to get people to come through to the site. And so the machine learning will be applied in those cases as well to optimize the campaigns on the fly at each individual auction based around all of the potential criteria. We're talking devices, the individual user behaviors. You could take into account demographic data, location data, time of day, right? All of those factors are all coming into play. And yes, so it applies everywhere.
That's cool. I mean, can you define the specific, metrics that you would want, the system, the algorithm to look at?
By using conversions.
I'm wondering other things. So like time on site,
Well, you can define what a conversion is, and that could be a certain amount of time on site. Yeah. So this is interesting. You know, I don't know, was it 2 or 3 years ago at PML, we were like, okay, conversion tracking and we're going to bid based on conversion. We invested, I don't know, half a year in Marin. And what I'm hearing you say, Tommy, is very similar to the pitch that the Marin salespeople gave us. But when we logged in to Marin and started using it, it fell short. And then also there was the ramp up and the learning curve for us to set it up the way they want you to set it up to get the most yield out of it was way too much work.
Right.
So are we driving to, is Google trying to make a lot of that stuff built in and native to the AdWords infrastructure?
All of it.
All of it.
You know, so
awesome.
there's a couple of ways you approach it, right? So from a context of conversions, another big, topic of dialogue was attribution models, right? And how, it's either first or last click pretty much everywhere you look.
Right.
And there's so much more value and potential value in all the steps in between. And so we talked a lot about, the different attribution options available. I don't know. Yeah,
no, it's great. So they're moving into a territory where they are helping you more easily set up the optimum setup, so to speak, so their machine learning can be efficacious and drives you towards your goals.
Yeah, and it is sorry, on the attribution piece. Yeah, this is a toggle in the account to shift your attribution, and it's a toggle to choose, sort of which of these biddings
what you care for, what are your KPIs
you want to use. Yeah, and as long as, to your point, and Kim, this is kind of is what you were talking about too, I think a little bit. We identify, what is important, right? If it's from a conversion perspective, we get all that information into the AdWords account. We know how to do that, and then we say, okay, here's our attribution model, optimized for these conversions. Go.
Wow. Now, the other side of this too is it's not just AdWords, right? So I'm sure YouTube was discussed and mobile optimization and website stuff. So Trisha is on the forefront of our designs, and we talk about user experience and conversion optimization all day long. So the question is, what out of that would a designer or somebody who runs websites or sets up user interfaces, what would they take away from all of this?
So I'm not sure that I can connect the dots with the machine learning piece necessarily, but we had actually a good session on sort of mobile design and sort of mobile next. I don't know if they said that, but it's kind of like a Google thing. Yep. And they showed us some examples of what, some pretty big players, in like areas like insurance and some of these other, huge volume verticals were doing on mobile. And there was some really interesting stuff. And if I had to summarize it, it's an absolute minimalist approach, right? You really isolate what do you want, and you make it as easy as possible, And so we were looking at some of these sites, and Trisha might be able to give some insight here. But instead of images, they were using stencils, they called them.
Wow.
Stencils?
So, yeah, it was just like a super scaled down sort of image, I guess.
Yeah.
And instead of it being like
a wireframe. Yeah.
So that's the difference between responsive and mobile optimized, right?
Yeah. So the push is responsive was great.
Yeah.
It still works. However, we can do better.
Yes. So mobile optimized is the whole concept that we live in a mobile first world.
Absolutely.
Right? Yep. So did someone say, did they all have t-shirts that says mobile, we live in a mobile first world? That's because that's what they really are all about nowadays. And that's different than responsive, right? So yep. Trisha, when we design a responsive website, we design it on desktop, and then we say, okay, when the width shrinks down, where things are going to go, and they get rearranged. That's mobile optimization and making sure it looks right on a 6 Plus and a 7 and a smaller device and that kind of thing. Mobile optimized is where you start.
Yeah.
And it's stripped down. There's not it's every page has one objective and one objective only, and you want to make it very simple for the user. I saw a video that was about user experience, and when you're holding your phone with your hand, your thumb naturally there's a hotspot that you can manipulate or move your thumb back and forth that you can touch. And putting buttons, a call to action at the bottom or at the top, is out of the reach of your thumb. So that's the level that these guys are thinking about mobile optimization at. And pretty exciting stuff.
How I was taught was actually just to design for mobile first. So, you know, and I would like to take that approach with some upcoming projects that we have going.
Yep.
And instead of giving the whole shebang and like all the bells and whistles, you know, it'll
Yep.
make it more like a focus of what, just like you were saying.
Mhm.
But yeah.
But that's going to be difficult though. Like you speak, we're building a campaign right now for a dental brand, and the brand manager wants 5 calls to action in one landing page. We want to give access to the coupon, to download a piece of a white paper, and to post on social media, and then something else. There's like 4 calls to action. And when we went from the desk, it's easy to do that on the desktop because you have a lot of real estate to play with.
A video.
Yeah, and play video. Thank you. And then when we went to the mobile device and we started looking at it, and like, we need to go back and reset expectations with this client, because there's no way this would be efficient or efficacious to do in a tiny screen. There's no way. Their conversion rate, because the user is going to be there like, what do you want me to do? You're asking me to do 4 things. I can only do 1. Right, without losing my train of thought, or my attention span runs out or whatever. What do you want me to do? So this is where simplifying, distilling what is it that the objective is for that one page, and nail it in mobile.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like what Google's saying as a best practice these days, Trisha, what you said, like design for mobile. Because we've gone through, site audits with clients with our mobile or our teams at Google. And that's exactly what they said, design for mobile, and then kind of work backwards from there into desktop.
When you mentioned video, one of the cool things that they showed us was, instead of actually physically loading the video on the page, it's a link. Watch our video, and it takes them somewhere else, right? And how much time do you save on page load, right? And they went back to all their typical statistics about how quick people leave if the page isn't loading. Yep. It's like 3 seconds you have. If your page isn't up by then on mobile, then people are gone, right? Mm-hmm. And then some of it was the design element, right? You don't put checkboxes on the right because of the awkwardness of the average.
Your thumb, right? Yeah. Yep.
It was some of that stuff. I'll try to find some of the sites. I wish I had them. I could share them right now. But there were some good examples.
Tommy, before you were talking about all this automation and stuff, and I'm just sitting here thinking, when you were at Google and you were like doing this tour, was there like a man behind the curtain like feeding images into a machine? Like, no, I'm just kidding. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, here's a hamburger, here's a piece of chicken, and right. That's how they ought to know. Like, I should illustrate that. I want to know the man behind the curtain.
Were the bikes still there? Did you bike around the campus?
I didn't get the bike, but they're there. Oh yeah, they're still there.
And you were in the main campus, right?
Yeah, we were all over, sort of, because Google, they call it a campus. It's more like a small city.
Oh yeah, it's a big city by most standards. Yeah,
and there's still lots of little other companies sprinkled around there that have survived or whatever it is.
Yep.
Like Google hasn't got to buy their buildings yet.
Yeah, no, that place is huge. Bashar and I got good and lost on bikes one year there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to go on the main campus briefly. It was a little more distant this time.
Right.
But, it's always fun to go back. I always enjoy being there. The aura exists.
We should have shared pictures. We should have shared some of the pictures that you had, like just to give people perspective of the size of the crowd.
We don't want you sharing pictures. Here's what I really want you to share. I want you to share the swag with us.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of swag did you get?
So we got set up with Google Home Mini and a Chromecast to sort of like kickstart home automation.
Okay.
Nice.
It was like a kickstart getting your home into the automated world.
Well,
I saw people wearing the T-shirts. Did you guys get T-shirts too? I saw a lot of people in that picture wearing the same T-shirts.
Yeah, they're white shirts, and it's like it says Google around it, and everybody's was in different like
a big letter and little
started in different spots. So if you lined up correctly, you could say Google with the right
Google.
But yeah.
It's funny.
Oh, that should be our next t-shirt design. I like that. So collectively, we can come up with a letter. That's cool. So that's interesting. So Google Home is definitely a big push, right? So we talked about voice marketing.
I have a stat.
Oh, go ahead.
20% of mobile searches are now voice.
Voice 20%. Wow, that's impressive. Because that's still not monetized. That's the biggest obstacle. I mean, that's not monetized yet. How are we gonna run AdWords or ads for voice? Think about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's a conflict of interest. Yeah. Because Google wants to be the most relevant, smartest result via audio, because they can only give you one answer, right? You're not looking at a big page. If it's not relevant, they lose the battle to Amazon or one of the other players, because they will be able to give you a better answer, right? So the best answer, the smartest technology is going to be the winning technology. But you can't monetize the right answer, right?
So, well, I think there's two parts to a voice activated search. One is people dictating to something that they're still reading. And so if you could voice activate just and execute a search, and you'd still get your ads, right? So we're still getting that segment.
You mean you're asking and you're seeing the results on your screen?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's replacing typing.
It's right.
Okay.
So it's just voices becoming more prominent. And then to your point, there's the whole home, these
assistant devices with no screen.
Devices with no screen, right?
Right. So that's going to be tough. And maybe what it would be like, let's say you say the trigger word and say, find me the nearest Pizza Hut. And then it will tell you, and then maybe at the end, after giving you the correct or the best result it can come up with, it will say, also, Papa John's is running 20% off on walk-ins today, or whatever. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
They still have to crack that nut.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wonder if there's any tie into like the Google suggestions. Now you start typing something into Google, it'll give you suggestions, and then taking that and tying it in with your location might be some way that they kind of tap into that.
There are, so ordering, right, is a big part of all of this, right? That's where we're headed. And I got some like redeemable promotions, and one of them is Domino's.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm going to try to, maybe tonight I'll order a pizza through my Google Home. But so the point was they're creating partnerships. And so I don't, I mean, it's one of the elements of advertising is if you're this massive player, you create a partnership. I'm sure that they're not there for free, right?
Right. Oh, of course not.
Yeah. Are you able to store personal information in there? You are. Okay, so I want to order a pizza, right? Walk me through this. Because I don't have one. I'm not privileged to go to Google.
So there's two things I think that can come out of what you just sort of said and asked. One is it personal? And that's a huge thing. We had a whole segment on privacy and protection, right? It's a huge question for everything. And so it has voice recognition, and has machine learning built in to get better and better at understanding.
The man behind the curtain speaking.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. So, and it will also allow you to have multiple sort of users and logins. So inside your home. So like Kim, right? So you were talking earlier about how your kids renamed you on your home, and it was an inappropriate greeting, right? So you can add other users, and they can have their own greetings, or and when you get things like payment information, you actually have to physically set that up. Right?
Oh wow!
Lock to my voice.
Yeah.
And then if you had a second person that was using it consistently, it would recognize their voice. So if I was like, play my, nighttime playlist or whatever, it would understand what that is versus maybe yours.
Play Tommy's thing or whatever. Well, so now I've got to figure that out so I can get back at my kids.
Tommy, just order a pizza right now using your payment information.
Yeah, just
don't wait here for Domino's to come.
No, don't follow through. She's tricking you. No, but it is interesting, because also as it becomes more of a personal assistant, meaning access to your email, to your phone book, to your calendar. So when I ask it, what's next on my agenda, it tells me my calendar information.
Yep.
And then somebody else in my household, it will detect their name and possibly connect into their calendar and tell them their info. So I think it's
yeah, like your mom is not the same as my mom, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty wild.
That's pretty awesome. That's super cool. So what we will be doing here, guys, over the next couple weeks is we will be putting out some new blog posts and articles that will speak to specific functionalities that we'll be piloting with our clients, and yeah, possibly tackle some more nuanced topics like these in future shows too.
Cool.
Yeah, no, this was good. Tommy, thank you so much for giving us a brief overview of the things you learned at Google.
Sure.
And yeah, look forward to having you on the show more often.
All right, right on.
Cool. All right, guys, don't forget to sign up and register to learn more about our future shows. Leave us comments in the comment field for anything that you want us to dig into more, or ideas for future shows. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you on episode 6.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Bye. Happy